good right here. Yo, huge shout outs to Gunna, man. Gunna been doing his thing, man. I gotta be honest, man. He's one of those guys that been low-key underestimated in this past year, man. Ever since Gunna got released, man, people been like, he's a snitch. You know, not everybody, but you know, those guys been saying that Gunna snitch. But we have to keep it all the way funky. How Gunna's lawyer played this out was the exact same way it played out. Gunna never ended up taking the stand against Gunna. We can't call Gunna a snitch unless he actually snitched. But I know, yes, he did go and he said that YSL was a gang and this and that. But we gotta be honest with what the whole situation is, man. Gunna and Young Thug took a plea. Young Thug took a plea because he couldn't sit behind bars for another 3 months. And these are people that be saying like, you know, like they'll stay in jail their whole life. It ain't like that, man. The honest truth is that when you get up in there, ain't nobody want to be behind bars, bro. Ain't nobody trying to be locked up, bro. Like, come on, man. Somebody like Gunna, or let's say Young Thug, that's waking up every day in a $5 million mansion, drinking some of that blue slurp juice. Y'all already know what I'm talking about. Smoking a fatty, probably a couple Xan bars on the side just to ease out the joint. Like, come on, man. You look into the backyard, you see nothing but trees and a big ass pool. Come on, man. I'm telling y'all right now. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to sit behind bars. But the crazy part is that I would have thought that Young Thug would have stayed behind bars, being that his lawyer was telling him like, yo, listen, man, just sit here for a couple more months and I'm gonna bring you home. I feel like I sound like a broken record, but like I told you guys before, I honestly think that was a little harsh for Young Thug to take 15 years of probation. You understand what I'm saying? But nevertheless, man, huge shout outs to Gunna, man. Fuck You Mean, if you guys don't know, is the first rap song to surpass 1 billion streams in the last 4 years. And I looked the song up, it hit 1.7, almost 2 billion streams, man.
Perfect.
We gotta give credit where credit is due, and we gotta stop acting like, yo, you know, yeah, man, listen, bro. If Kendrick Lamar and Drake would have never beefed, and this Not Like Us track would have not been jumping, the only thing we would have been able to be talking about for the year would have been Gunna. There would have been no other bigger artists. You know what I'm saying? No other bigger artists, bro. This whole shit with the Drake and Kendrick having that huge hit took away a lot from Gunna. This would have been Gunna's year, unlike on his solo. You know what I'm saying? Like, no other rapper would have been talked about this year besides Gunna. Yeah, you know, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Metro Boomin with the Future and it was alright, but that's a group album. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about solo artists, man. Gunna is the talk of 2024 if it would have not been for that Kendrick hit. He would have been the, bro, I'm telling y'all right now, look, Fuck You Mean hitting almost 2 billion streams. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Carlos, what's up, man? I appreciate the sub, my brother. I appreciate the sub, man. Welcome to the DaShmackHouse, man.
Wow.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the sub, man. All y'all new, all you guys that are new, man, make sure you sub up, man. Very important to sub up. We're at 60K, man. The goal is 100,000 this year, man. Let's make it. Let's get there, man. I know we could do it, man. It's light work, man. So yeah, man. Huge shout outs to Gunna, man. I think he was one of those guys that was, you know, people didn't think that he was gonna be as big as he was. People didn't think he was gonna come the way he came this year. You know what I mean? So I gotta get my respect. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sirski. Yeah, and check this out, right? Check this out. Supposedly, Young Thug was in the studio, right? And this is what he had to say. A lot of people are saying that it's towards Gunna and possibly Woody. But I think this is obviously aimed at Gunna. I don't think Young Thug really cared much about Woody, because I don't think Woody was somebody that Young Thug considered like one of his like real ones. You know what I'm saying? I think Woody was just one of them crash out dudes, right? I think Woody to Young Thug was one of those crash out dudes that was just, Young Thug knew that this is the dude that I call for when I need a crash dump. You know what I mean? But here's what Young Thug said in the studio recently.
Never associate with a regular. Go and get some money, get a pack. Hit her in a car at the sex. Walk inside that bitch and bob. Hand on her thumbs from the back. Never associate with a regular. Go and get some money, get a pack. Hit her in a car at the sex. Walk inside that bitch and bob. Hand on her thumbs from the back. Never associate with a regular. Go and get some money, get a pack. Hit her in a car at the sex.
So yes, y'all heard right there. You know, you hear Young Thug said, "Never associate myself with a rat." Now funny that just a few hours later, well, I'm gonna say, yeah, a few hours later, Steve Saddle, which is Gunna's former lawyer, he's came out, he's put out this statement because now, listen, these lawyers, they're being very smart the way they're moving. You know, now they come out and they want to be on the spotlight, so they're tweeting now. All these lawyers are on Twitter and they're tweeting because obviously you get these high celebrity, high cases, and you get these rappers to walk on certain cases or whatever, or get light charges, and what ends up happening is that it brings them more cases. You know what I mean? Everybody tries to like now do business with this guy. Oh, he does business with Gunna. You know, he's Gunna's lawyer. You know what I mean? So his lawyer came out and said, "I was Gunna's attorney, but I am not speaking on his behalf. This long post is solidly to set out the truth. Gunna did not cooperate and did nothing and said nothing to cause harm to Thug's case. He spent 8 months." Well, he did say that YSL was a gang. Like, he stamped that ish. But I get it. I don't know if is that snitching? I don't know. I listen, man. Y'all can tell me, cause y'all know the street politics. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it says Gunna did not cooperate, did nothing, and said nothing to cause harm to Thug's case. He spent 8 months in jail and was released in December of 2022. After entering an offered plea, Gunna's plea could not and was not used at Thug's trial, and he was never even named. Okay, so this is key right here. So no matter what Gunna said, you know, you guys remember what Gunna said in that court. We could pull it up right now so you guys, I know some of you guys might have not remembered. That was the time when Gunna was in court and he was being asked by the judge, like, is YSL gang? We could look that up real quick. Let me see. We got it right here. Okay.
After each statement, whether or not you agree or acknowledge that statements are true, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
This is probably why Thug is pissed off. Like, what else can it be? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, ma'am.
Nah, but the way he was mamming her, bro. Like, that's a little bit too much, Gunna. Like, you slurping, my nigga. You just could have just said yes or yeah or whatever. Nah, the ma'am is a little too much. You slurping, eh?
You were
Slurping.
present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocodone, methamphetamines, and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the gang to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
So we remember that, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that why Young Thug might be a little pissed off at Gunna? We don't know, you know what I'm saying? But the problem is that Young Thug should at least come out and say how he feels. Like, this politic that Young Thug is playing with him, like, not telling nobody, like, okay, are you gonna come out and address this? You're gonna keep taking slight jabs throughout songs? Like, at the end of the day, Gunna is under the YSL label. And, you know, a lot of the people that, you know, are around Young Thug in the industry have said that also some of the tensions are between that supposedly, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if this is true, so I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But supposedly they've been saying that, you know, Gunna has said, you know what I'm saying, that he's the reason why Young Thug was able to pay for his legal fees. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know if that's true. You know what I mean? We don't know. You know what I mean? So, either way, it's kind of true, right? You know what I mean? Gunna coming out and putting out some music and getting some flotation going into the label is kind of a good thing, because at the end of the day, Young Thug wasn't out here making any money while he was sitting behind bars. You know what I mean? And a lot of the things went on a complete standstill for Young Thug. He dropped an album, but it was mid. It was mid, man. Nobody was really dumping to that ish. You know what I mean? Nobody was really dumping to that. So anyways, it says here he spent, his lawyer continues, he says he spent 8 months in jail and was released in December of 2022 after entering an offer plea. Gunna's plea could not and was not used at Thug's trial, and he was never even named as a witness. He received a 5-year suspended sentence with no reporting, no travel restrictions, no living restrictions, and no probation. Over the last 2 years, from media report, he has performed all over the world, achieved international fame and recognition, and earned millions of dollars. Conversely, Thugs went to trial and eventually pled guilty and Nolo after spending 30 months in jail. Oh, he's low-key clowning right now. He's clowning. Received 15 years probation. So I told you guys before. With reporting conditions and is not even allowed to live in Atlanta. Though, nah, this plea deal is the worst plea deal in history. And we got to keep it all the way from Guida. I don't know what Young Thug was thinking when he went out on Twitter and he said, real plea deal, Jack. Come on, man. What are we talking about, bro? Like, what do you mean real plea deal, Jack? What? Gunna got a real plea deal, Jack. Gunna walked out of there with a clean sleeve. You don't hear his lawyer saying right here, Gunna's been flying around the world. Man, listen, y'all heard what Gunna said? Where you at is 3 in the morning, whatever, in Atlanta is 4 in the morning. That boy cruising through Atlanta at 4 in the morning. Young Thug can't even slide through his, he can't even go to his own house that he owns in Atlanta. How is that a real plea deal, Jack? Somebody explain this to me, bro, because I don't understand it. Am I tweaking? Like, I might be tweaking. I think I might be tweaking. I don't know, bro. But the fact that Gunna came out and walked, bro, like Gunna literally came out and walked. Look at, just listen to what this man is saying. This is his lawyer. He received a 5-year suspended sentence. Bro, he was supposed to do an extra 5, bro. Like, whatever. Let's say out of that 5, he only had to do 40%. Still, bro, all right, he did 2 years time served. All right, whatever. But he came out with no reporting. That Gunna's out here smoking that Zaza. You know what I'm saying? He out here smoking that Scooty. Yeah, bro, he don't have to report to no freaking probation officer. You know what I'm saying? No travel restriction. Motherfucker can fly anywhere in the world. You know what I'm saying? No living restriction. He can live in Atlanta. You want to live in Atlanta? Live in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And no probation. Over the last 2 years, from media reporting, he has performed all over the world, achieved international fame and recognition, and earned millions of dollars. Conversely, Thug went to trial and eventually pled guilty and Nolo after spending 30 months in jail, received 15 years probation with reporting conditions, and is not even allowed to live in his own town of Atlanta. Those that have and continue to badmouth Gunna, get over it. Enough said. Get him out of here. Gangsta. I gotta give it to him. He's talking his ish. But let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Gunna did not have nothing to do with anything that Young Thug had going on. And the prosecutors knew that. Now, the reason why you guys are probably asking, so why did they lock Gunna up? Because this is a tactic that the government uses. You know, if you're around somebody enough time, they can prove to the judge that you might have something to do with whatever it is that person has going on. I mean, listen, you guys sleep at each other's houses. You guys are touring. You guys are on the same tour bus for months and on weeks. You know, listen, they can convince the judge that although you may not have nothing to do with the case, that you might know something about the case. So they lock you up too, brother. And you might be like Gunna, not a street ninja. And now, listen, bruh, you know what I'm saying? Now you're here stuck in this whole situation. And guess what? Officials like that because they know that you're not about that street life and that you're possibly going to say whatever you can to go home because you're not about that life. And it works out a lot of the times. I mean, look at what Gunna. You know, they got him to at least, even though they couldn't use that against the Young Thug in his case, they still got him to say that YSL is operates as a label and as a gang and it must end. And I honestly think that the reason why Young Thug is pissed off is because of that. Because what else can it be for? What other possible reason can Young Thug be pissed off at Gunna for? I can't think of the reason. You guys tell me. I honestly can't think of it. Yo, shout out to everybody up in here, man. Make sure you hit that bell above and subscribe to the channel if it's your first time up in here, man. Tap into all the socials. DaShmackHouse on all socials, man. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't understand why I would think that Young Thug would understand at this point. Yo, listen, man. This is my business partner, or this is business that I have with Gunna. You know, I can't expect him to stand on business on any street stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Like, Gunna wasn't in the hood kicking it and blowing shit back with you. He wasn't. So you can't expect them to, somebody that you didn't grow up with doing the ish that you do, that you and standing on the principles that you stand on, and somebody that you bring like Gunna into the YSL label to do business because you think he's a great artist, has nothing to do with somebody and their street activities. You cannot be mad at Gunna for doing what he did. You cannot. You cannot, bro. Like, Gunna's not a rapper that's out here talking about sliding on the block and clapping his ops. You know what I mean? Young Thug does that ish. So how you gonna be mad at Gunna for kind of folding? I'm gonna say it was kind of a fold. I gotta keep it all the way funky, you know? Yeah, I honestly, okay, and I'm gonna say this, but I'm also gonna say what else I'm gonna say after. As someone like Gunna, I understand why he did what he did. You understand what I'm saying? Because Gunna is a civilian. And any of us civilian that never been behind bars like that and been in a real life situation where you're possibly facing tens of years behind bars because you're part of a whole RICO. As you guys know, when you mention to a lawyer it's a RICO, that price 5X's. It's a RICO, bro. You know how big that is? You know what I mean? So I understand why he folded. You know what I mean? Now, looking at it from Young Thug's point of view, Young Thug is like, I don't care how you are or how you move. You're supposed to stand on business and keep your mouth shut at all times. That's what Young Thug expects, even if you're a civilian. Even if you're a civilian, Young Thug expects you to stand on business and say absolutely nothing, bro. Your words don't mean, don't say ish, bro. Keep your mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? And stand on business. I think that if Gunna would have done that, he would have definitely been let go at some point. He definitely would have gotten out. Gunna would have walked out with no charges. The same way he walked out. He would have got that same, without him having to even take the stand and say what he did. Well, he didn't take the stand against Young Thug, but he did, as I showed you guys before, in the courtroom, admit to the judge that YSL is a label and a street gang. Now, what Gunna could have done was sit behind bars possibly for another year or maybe 2. He probably would have got out eventually, maybe before or after, maybe before I say than Young Thug. And he would have never had to take the stand. You know what I mean? And I think that's what Young Thug expected Gunna to do. Young Thug expected Gunna to sit behind bars and say absolutely nothing. I don't know nothing. No, I don't know what you guys are talking about. You seen the guns? Nope. You seen the slurp juice coming in and out of the house like it's a freaking factory back there? Nope. That's what Young Thug expected Gunna to do. But at the end of the day, what Gunna did wasn't that bad. I mean, that's what I think. But maybe in Young Thug's eyes, that's super bad. And going back to how Young Thug spoke on $1 Million Worth of Game, I would think that, yes, I would understand why he's mad at Gunna for that. Because if you guys look at that interview that Young Thug had $1 Million Worth of Game, he clearly tells Wallow and Gilly, like, yo, listen, man, I wouldn't rat on a roach. If I met you, he said, if I met you today and I ain't know you from a can of paint, I still wouldn't snitch on you. And when I heard Young Thug say that, I was like, damn, bro, that's kind of like that OG mentality. You know what I mean? Like, and when I say that OG mentality is that mentality of like motherfuckers from the 80s and the 70s that were gangbanging and involved with things with the mafia. Because it was different before. Now, ain't nobody care about snitching. People are scared to clap somebody. And it costs too much money to hire a hitman in 2025. Let's be honest. And nobody's worth a body no more. Like, it's very rarely where you hear, like, it has to be something big. But back in the day, if you would have told or snitched on the mafia, them niggas would clap you, my nigga. It didn't matter where you was at, my nigga. They would find your ass. And that was a fact. They would find your ass. Motherfuckers were scared as hell. People were shitting their pants to snitch. People wasn't doing it. In the 80s, the 90s, people wasn't snitching, bro. Because it wasn't even about them. It was about their family, bro. If these niggas couldn't get you, they would come and get your family, bro. And it would never fail, bro. They would always do it. They would do that shit like it was nothing. Like, yo, you know how they be talking about, oh, the murder rate is super high. I know I'm going a little off topic here, but I'm just saying. They be saying that the murder rate is super high. You know why? Because we actually see this shit now in the freaking media. It's all over now. We get to see everything. It's on the internet. You understand what I'm saying? Before, there was no freaking internet. Rolando will get clapped out in the other 2 states down. My nigga, that shit was in their news over there. We wasn't even finding out about that. It's a big deal now because we get to see everything. You understand what I'm saying? We open our phones and we can see what happened in Cali. We can see what happened in Texas. We couldn't do that before. Let's be honest. Like, you would read a newspaper and the freaking newspaper was the New York Times. If your ass was New York, you was getting the New York news, nigga. You wasn't getting no global shit. This global shit happened after the internet came. You understand what I'm saying? And I hope I'm making sense to some of y'all. So yeah, man. Continuing with this whole Young Thug and Gunna situation. At the end of the day, man, as I said before, I understand it from Young Thug's point of view because, yes, he's somebody that stands on business. And to him, it means everything to keep your mouth shut. And I get it. If that's how you are, I get it. But you can't, it goes back to what I said. You can't be mad at somebody that's involved with you for business and not in street activities. Now, hold up. I also want to add this. Now, if Gunna was out with Young Thug doing street activity things, like sliding on the ops, moving that work across the board, I could understand why Young Thug is pissed off at Gunna. Because if you're doing street activities, that makes you a street ninja and you're supposed to keep your mouth shut. You're supposed to keep your mouth shut. Because you about that street life. As soon as you step foot into that lifestyle, you have to stand down with everything that comes with that. You have to stand on that. That's what I think. You got to stand on that ish. You feel me? Like, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Yo, what's up to everybody? Yo, we live on Twitch. We live on YouTube. We are live on Kick. Yo, shout out to all of y'all, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in, man. We out here on a Saturday night. We off the Casamigos. We off some Terps. And we just chopping it up, man. We just chopping it up. Simple as that, man. So yeah, man, that's my whole take on that whole Young Thug and Gunna situation, man. I hate to see these guys on a back and forth because at the end of the day, both of these individuals are super talented. And they make great music together. It's just sad that unfortunately we probably won't see, you know what I'm saying? We won't see another Young Thug and Gunna collab. It's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? I hate to see it. I hate to see the back and forth. All right. Let's see what else we got here.